Today, I want to talk about my journey as a ghostwriter and how to earn while at it. Please, what I'm about to share with you is something that if you listen to me and you take it seriously, it's gonna change your life. And I'm actually serious. Forget how I'm sounding. Okay, firstly, I want to say that ghostwriting is legal. Like, it's a legal job. I'm saying this because number of times I have spoken to people about ghostwriting, they sound like, oh, they don't want to get involved in anything shady. And I'm like, ghostwriting is a legal job. In fact, I don't want to go overboard, but most of the top people, top guns in politics, top CEOs, they don't have time to sit down and write. They employ ghostwriters to do their writing for them. So don't shoot yourself in the leg just because you're not sure about something. So yes, ghostwriting is legal. Now, about my journey as a ghostwriter, I actually started in this industry as a ghostwriter. Some of you already know my journey. In case you don't know, just check my previous video on my journey into Nollywood. I talk about how I got into Nollywood as a screenwriter. But there is a part I didn't share, which is why I had to do another video to explain this. So shortly after film school, I jumped on a number of collaboration gigs, but they were not paying as much as I wanted. And of course, understandably so, because I was new in the field and I needed to build brand trust. And I'm saying this because I've gotten a number of DMs from some of you saying, oh, they're not getting gigs, nobody's patronizing you. And trust me, I completely understand. It's normal. I think it's normal for anyone that wants to break into a new field. It's not always easy to start. But one thing I did not do was just to fold my arms and wait for manna to fall from heaven. Beyond reaching out to producers and directors in the DM and sending them my synopsis and all of that pitching, I also started ghostwriting. And this is what I did. I reached out to top writers, senior writers that were already in the game. Most of these guys are very busy. They have a truckload of work and they have multiple deadlines that they cannot meet up with. So if you can come on board as a ghostwriter for them, trust me, you will not only earn, you would also learn, which for me is the goal of this video. I want to show you how to learn as a ghostwriter and also how to earn. But the first thing you need to know is that you have to be open-minded. This is not so common, or rather, but I mean, I'm all for truth here. I'm not going to try to mince words. I'm going to tell you as it is, right? But there's something you need to know. What you learn in film school could be completely different from what you learn when you get out there, like when you actually get into Nollywood. Let me give you an instance. In film school, we were taught to write, allow your creative juices flow. If you want to see somebody jumping out of a helicopter, you see the world coming to an end, basically all of those beautiful and amazing stuff. But when I got into Nollywood, I learned to write for production, and I learned this thing as a ghostwriter. So what does writing for production means? Writing for production means you're writing according to the budget that the producer has to produce this film. When I first started writing, I remember very well, my first spec script had nothing less than 20 characters. Please, don't judge me. Listen and don't judge. My first script had like 20 characters. And I mean, it was a very beautiful story. But do you know that up till now, I have not been able to produce that script? And I understand why now. Because every producer I sent that script to, every time they saw 20 characters, they saw plenty money leaving their purses. And I mean, it's not very easy, especially in this economy. I mean, here in Nigeria, at least, it's not very easy for you to just spend money, especially when you don't know the outcome of the film. So I started learning how to write with minimal characters, learning how to write with minimal location, learning how to tell a story without doing too much or introducing so many sub characters, into the story. So I had to learn all of this, and I learned it while ghostwriting. Now, when you're also ghostwriting, you need to be open to criticism because everybody has their style of writing. There was a particular writer when I started working with her, I learned that there was a certain way she described emotions in her script. And I wasn't used to that style. I had my own style, but I had to learn her style. And to be honest, because she was and is still a top gun in the industry, using her style of writing for my own script started to tell on my script in a good way. So I'm telling you this because while you are working as a ghostwriter for somebody, on the side, you begin to see the mistakes that you're making in your own spec script. And now and again, you can even send your spec script to these guys and tell them, please, if you have a minute, can you help me look at my work and tell me what I can do better? And they would gladly oblige as a form of mentorship because you're already assisting them with their own work. Many people just want to blow in the industry, but you're not thinking of how you can infuse yourself. One of my favorite scripture is be wise as serpent and be gentle as a dove. I love that scripture so much because it makes me understand that there's a way to go about stuff. You can be gentle, but you can also be cunning and crafty, but in a good way, of course. So I'm saying this because you need to have that open mind for what you want to do because it's not going to be easy. There was a time I was ghostwriting for somebody and I learned to write a feature length script in just 3 days. Before then, I used to write a feature length script in 2 weeks or 7 days. And then this particular lady reached out to me and said, Jemima, this script needs to be delivered by weekend. And I think she started me by on Thursday. She said, I need this script by weekend. And I was like, Ma, what did you say? She said, yes, that they need to start production on Monday. So this script has to be ready latest Sunday. She said, can you deliver? A part of me wanted to say no. But I just realized that if she trusted me to deliver, there's a high chance she believed that I could deliver. So what did I do? I told her, Ma, I would do it. And I jumped on it. It was crazy. Like I was so swamped, but did I do it? Yes. And that unlocked something in me. I would never have known that I could write a feature length script in 3 days if I hadn't gotten that opportunity, which came as a result of what? Ghostwriting. Another thing I want to say is as you progress on your journey as a ghostwriter, you also need to learn how to research. Many people don't know this, but let me say that when you're working with somebody, albeit a top gun in the industry, you also don't want to just position yourself as a mentee or someone that is learning. You also want to position yourself as someone that they can gain knowledge from. And I'll give you a very likely scenario. If, for example, you're writing a story about someone that is suffering from, let's say, amnesia or maybe particularly pancreatic cancer, and this particular story, maybe the person is not supposed to die or the person is supposed to die in the story. Beyond what you're given, beyond the storyline, beyond the story idea, you need to go and do like a proper research because on a normal day, you might not get the opportunity to write that kind of story. But because you're working with this person, you are being exposed to the opportunity to learn about that thing. And the next time you get the chance to write about that story, you will most likely do well. My first chance at writing a sitcom for a TV series was a ghostwriting job. And after I did that ghostwriting job, shortly after, I got a gig. And then the person asked me, have you written a sitcom before? I just said yes. So imagine if I had waited for that opportunity to come, I would most likely not have been ready for it. So I said all of that to say that ghostwriting prepares you for your future. The future you so desire that, I want to be a writer that is well sought after, which is fantastic, by the way. You need to be prepared for it. And ghostwriting gives you that platform. I did ghostwriting for maybe the first 2 years of my career. I was right ghostwriting. In fact, there are a number of films that are doing well. And, there's this satisfaction that comes with knowing that, man, I wrote that. Even though the credit is not coming to me, I wrote that. And you just have this peace of mind, this overwhelming fulfillment that you did this. And this is the part I know most of you want to hear. The moment you ghostwrite for a top gun, after a while, especially maybe when you've done like five jobs or maybe even 3 jobs for them, you would have the confidence, or you could even ask, Ma or Sir, I would like to be a co-writer with you on one of your projects, I'm telling you, they would most likely be open to it because number one, they've learned to trust you. Secondly, you've mastered their style of writing. Thirdly, they understand that you are better at your craft than you first were when you started working with them. So that has also opened a door of opportunity for you. So the next time you are tempted to just ask somebody to collaborate with you as a co-writer, perhaps you should ask them for ghostwriting opportunities first because it will do you great good. And this is where I want to end my video for today. I hope you have learned a lot. See you in our next video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.